In this video, I want to take a look at the primary results for the competitive House districts, seeing at the states of Connecticut, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Got 8 total districts that we're going to be dissecting, 1 in Connecticut, 2 in Wisconsin, and 5 in Minnesota. So starting here with Connecticut, their 1 through 4 districts are all listed as safe Democratic, and they have incumbents, but the 5th congressional district does not have an incumbent, still listed as a likely Democratic district. They have 100% of the precincts reporting here, so the full vote tally, and the Democrats had a little over 39,000 votes. The Republicans a little over 31,000 votes, so about an 8,000 vote advantage there for the Democrats, and Johanna Hayes going on and winning this one on the Democratic side. I believe she was National Teacher of the Year and did pretty well here, over 62% of the vote. On the Republican side, you have Manny Santos winning with a little over 51% of the vote. So definitely you give that the likely Democratically, and especially in terms of the voter turnout difference here, looking pretty solid for the Democrats. So now moving on to the state of Wisconsin, their 1st congressional district. And I'm actually a little bit surprised how this one turned out in the end. The Democrats were down in this vote total all night, and it was usually by between about 5,000 to 10,000 votes or more. But once we got to that 100% of the precincts reporting, the Democrats were able to leap over the Republicans, and you can see they got over 61,000 votes. On the Republican side, a little less than 60,000 votes, so very competitive. This is listed as a lean Republican, but it might go over to a toss-up scenario just based on this primary data that had Randy Bryce going on and grabbing a little over 36,000 votes. And on the Republican side, of course, this was Paul Ryan's seat, and he decided that he didn't want to run for re-election, and he knew it was going to be a lot tougher against Randy Bryce than the prior elections that he's had in this district. But the fact that the Republicans don't have the incumbency advantage with Paul Ryan means that it's going to make things only that much more difficult. But Brian Steele, he will have his chance to go on and try to continue to keep this seat for the Republicans. What I said is a lean Republican district. And now moving on to Wisconsin's 6th congressional district. Unfortunately, we don't have voter data in this one, but it is listed as likely Republican. You have an incumbent on the Republican side and a challenger on the Democratic side in Dan Cole. And again, unfortunately, we don't have the voter data for this one to get a deeper dive into how things might play out. So now we got 5 matchups to look at over in Minnesota, starting with their 1st congressional district, which is listed as a toss-up Democratic district. And as you can see in the vote, a little over 47,000 votes on the Democratic primary side, a little over 42,000 on the Republican primary side, so a difference of about 5,000 votes for the Democrats, and Dan Feehan going on winning considerable margin there, over 83% of the vote with a little under 40,000 votes, and then Jim Hagedorn with a little over 25,000 votes and over 60% of the vote. So again, that one is listed as a toss-up Democratic, but the fact that, again, that they're able to get a 5,000 vote margin here is a pretty good sign for them heading towards the midterms. Moving on to Minnesota's 2nd congressional district, and we don't have data on that one. Listed as a toss-up Republican, they do have the incumbency advantage with Jason Lewis, and then Angie Craig going to be running for the Democrats. Minnesota's 3rd congressional district, the Republicans have the incumbency advantage with Eric Paulson. This is listed as a toss-up Republican again. On the Democrat side, great turnout there, a little under 70,000 votes cast. Dean Phillips winning with a considerable margin, getting over 56,000 votes and over 81% of the vote. Minnesota's 7th congressional district, and this one is listed as a likely Democratic district. They have the incumbency advantage with Colin Peterson. On the Republican side, a little over 42,000 votes were cast, with Dave Hughes getting over 30,000 votes. But again, this one is listed as likely Democratic. And then just one more district to look at here, and that is Minnesota's 8th congressional district, which is listed as a toss-up Democratic. And great sign here for the Democrats. They go on and pick up over 62,000 votes, and on the Republican side, they have over 46,000 votes, so a 16,000 vote gap there in the plus for the Democrats. So I probably see this one moving from a toss-up Democratic seat, maybe at least one step over to a lean Democratic seat because of that stark difference in the vote. So we'll see how that plays out. those are the 8 competitive congressional districts, some of the more interesting races that you might see going towards the midterm elections in November. If you guys are interested in getting all of my analysis and prediction videos, you can check those out over on my YouTube channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you guys back here for future videos.